And what a great concept. I mean, Jimbo. He doesn't like Cher. He doesn't need a last name like Madonna. Just Jimbo. But anyway, I got to tell you that we've been touring the Texas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, Arkansas thing, and then we were getting up and going up to Chicago and Milwaukee, St. Louis, and Kansas City, and all that stuff. Tennessee. And we had never really, well, we'd done that, yeah, but we had never really done the West Coast. And then we had this girl that she booked some gigs for us. She was actually Dale Watson's girlfriend. And she booked some gigs for us out in California. And we were, we could not kind of connected the dots ourselves. We booked some got a gig in Albuquerque and Phoenix and Tucson, that kind of deal. And then we had a friend of ours who he was a Dallas guy, but he lived up in Seattle. And he said, hey, I heard all about it. He goes, man, I'm going to get you guys some gigs in Seattle. I've got some gigs on the line. We can do it. I'm going, well, sweet, all right. We get to go to, actually, we didn't say sweet that much. It was the late 80s, We probably just said cool. But anyway, so, it was happening music scene in Seattle, so we're pretty excited about that. So we did our shows, we went out, we got out, we started playing our shows out in Southern California, and it went really well. And to this day, it's a real great place for us to go play, but the shows were going great. We were out there we were going to be there for a couple of weeks, and so I called this guy in Seattle, and I said, so what's up? And he goes, oh man, you guys probably for sure have some gigs. Okay, and then I waited a couple of days. I said, well, find out, okay. And I called him back, and he said, man, no, you guys probably for sure have a gig here. So we went from gigs to gig, and it was getting sketchy, and then we were young and dumb. And we realized that, hey, oh man, it's as far from LA to Seattle as it is for us to go back to Dallas. And it was a long way up there. And so with this guy being sketchy, knowing we were probably going to lose money on the whole tour, I had to ask Jimbo. I said, Jimbo, what do you think about this whole deal? And he said, let's go to Seattle. So we did. We drove up to Seattle, and we knocked on the guy's door. We had his address, and he wasn't answering the phone anymore. So we got up there, we knocked on the door, and we said, yeah, and they said, no, he was our roommate, and he skipped out on paying rent, and he owes everybody else money, too. If you know where he is, we'd like to find him. Can we stay with you? And it was actually worked out that way. We spent the night on their floor for a couple of nights, didn't know what we were going to do. One of the guys was a bartender, and he had some connections, so he called up some people. And he said, hey, he goes, the Vogue has a show Saturday night, and they're gonna throw you guys up at the end of the show you might only get to play 4 songs, but who knows, you might get to play 6 or 10 songs. But at least it's something since you're here. We're like going, okay, that's pretty cool. So, and I think that the Black Super Suckers played that night and became the Super Suckers. But anyway, we got up and we were doing our set, and it was a packed crowd, and we were doing really well, and we were pretty excited about getting to look like we were going to have a little following here in Seattle maybe after this gig. And we're playing along, and I was looking down at the crowd, and all of a sudden I noticed that everybody was looking at Jimbo with this look on their face like... I looked over there, and one of his bass strings was all loosey-goosey, broken, flailing around, but he was still slapping, but there was blood splurting everywhere. Kind of right in time with his heartbeat, probably. It was just going everywhere. And the people were like shocked. And we were playing the song Psychobilly Freakout, and y'all heard us, we just did it a minute ago, where that song has breaks where we stop, boom, and I say, it's a Psychobilly Freakout, we start playing again, right? So I had in my mind, I was thinking, well, when we hit the break here, instead of just going into the next part, we're going to probably have to stop because something happened. And so we stopped, and what had happened is he broke a bass string and he tried to just rip it off with his bare hand, and it just put a giant gash in his finger. blood is everywhere. I mean, all over the place. And so, before I went back into Psychobilly Freakout, I was like, I said, man, this is it. We can't play anymore, right? And he brought his bass out in the middle of the stage. And he came out and he made he had his blood all over his hands. He took his bloody hand and he made a cross on his face like this. And he looked at me. He looked at me and just said, "Go." That's a Psychobilly Freakout. And we started. The crowd loved it. And then we didn't know this, but right there in the front row were the two owners of Sub Pop Records, and we got a record deal. And Jimbo didn't bleed to death. So it all worked out good. So here he is from fabulous Deer Park, Texas. It's your boy, Jimbo.